Wisconsin takes down Ohio State at Ohio State. Like I said, the free throws were not the best thing ever. As we mentioned it a little bit earlier, the Ohio State Hoops insider Wolf. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel as well about this one. Um, Listen, I'm kind of worried. I've been talking all year about like it's good to see Ohio State doing well, but if we get into the middle of January, we're going to start struggling a little bit. Then I'm going to be worried about a bad run. And this was about the time last year when Ohio State's bad run started, and they lost double-digit games and only had one win or something like that there. And Ohio State needs to correct this. Now, Wisconsin's a really hard team to correct things on, but you can't be dropping games to Penn State early on like they did, and you can't have the shooting performance that you had against IU earlier this year, or last game, actually. Bruce Thornton was better. I felt like Roddy Gale was better, but at the end of the day, they just couldn't close out the game. They were neck and neck all the way through, and then once it got to a few minutes left, Wisconsin started to pull ahead. They had a 6-point lead, and they got 5 more points after that to put it up by 11 points. It shows that Ohio State is still not fixing the things that they need to fix in order to ascend themselves into that top 5 or 4 spot in the conference. They still are probably a top half of the team in the conference, but it will remain to be seen because they need to make these things happen. Alec, what were your thoughts on the Ohio State loss to Wisconsin?
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, they look a lot better this year. I think they've just connected so much better, but Wisconsin, they've come out of nowhere. I thought they would be a fine team, one of those like 7-8 range guy like type of teams. But if we talked about Purdue earlier, if Purdue kind of loses a couple games here and there, Wisconsin could sneak up on them. But yeah, this Wisconsin team looks really impressive. AJ Storr has been so much better than I could have thought coming in from St. John's. He had a great game, 17 points. Max Klesmit looked really good too, 18 points, really efficient shooting the ball as well. They just got some really good guards. Chucky Hepburn hasn't looked the best, but yeah, they just got a bunch of guards that can really play, and they got experienced guys too, especially after a young team like last year's. Even Wall and Crowell down low are really experienced, and that's what wins in college basketball, especially in these past couple of years with all these guys staying for extra years, 5th, 6th, even 7th year guys. It's the experienced guards. That's what wins in March. So this could be a sneaky good team come March, as long as they keep it together and keep looking and shooting like the way that they are right now. And Ohio State, it's definitely a bit worrying that some of these problems are still arising. Not the best shooting night, like you mentioned. The free throws, 4 of 10, not great. But I will say Jamison Battle looked really good again. I was at the Ohio State Rutgers game. He absolutely crushed us again. He has a vendetta for Rutgers, I feel like, because he did it against Minnesota last year and the year before that. Now he's doing it for Ohio State. But yeah, Thornton and Gale definitely have clicked a little bit better. I was surprised to see Zed Key coming off the bench, but now you got, Battle and Akpara down low. It feels like that's working a little bit better, especially in the rebounding game as well. I still have a personal vendetta against Zed Key for multiple reasons, but that's a story for another time. But yeah, I think Ohio State, I feel like, they're down to 2 or 3 in the conference by now. I don't know if I'd be worried, but there's definitely some things to turn around. But they've shown that they can really play with some of the best in the conference. I wouldn't be too worried. Wisconsin just looks like one of those teams that they're going to be really good pretty much no matter what. And I don't know if they'll beat Purdue in the Big Ten standings, but they have a shot at it for sure.
Yeah, no, I think I'm really high on this Wisconsin team, especially after tonight seeing them, go into the Schott Steam Center in Columbus and get that win. Now, Ohio State doesn't have the best home arena. I would say it's probably one of the 3 worst in the Big Ten, just because the way they built that thing, and the students and the people around Columbus are not the most energetic there ever is. So it's not the best arena there is, but it's still, I mean, it's your home arena and you have to protect it. And they didn't do that tonight. So, Burke, are you kind of with Alec here where it's like, don't be concerned, Ohio State's going to right this ship? Or are you kind of like me where it's like, hey, we've seen this before and we could easily see things go downhill again?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit of both. Because I feel like there is reason to feel a little bit of both. As far as this being the same thing we've seen, this this tends to be how the record goes for Ohio State, which is it's pretty alarming how similar it is to last year. And it's just but it's happening in a different way, where it was the Bryce Sensabaugh highlight reel audition tape for the NBA before. It feels like they have just so many more pieces that are each producing to their own extent, and that shouldn't be this reoccurring issue. You know what I mean? I just feel like because it's not so centrally focused, you should be able to pick up some slack here and there across the roster. But man, yeah, it's got to be tough because it's looking like there are plenty of shades that have been seen by Ohio State fans before.
Oh, and you just watched them play.
Yeah.
I mean, when you looked at, because when I look at it, I say, again, I'm going to give full credit to Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin is a good team, and I'm not trying to compare them to IU and say they're the same team or anything like that. But I am saying, I felt like Ohio State had some of the same struggles in this game that they had against IU, which you expect to happen on the road in a really tough environment in Assembly Hall. But at home, you would expect, some better play. Bruce Thornton, goes 1 for 5 from the 3-point arc. Roddy Gale goes 0 for 4. Jamison Battle goes 4 for 5. But, how good is that really if your other two guards are going 1 for 9 from the 3-point line? I mean, it's one of those things where, like, yeah, it's not Sensabaugh, but it is two players who they're really just not playing really well right now. Not quite the turnovers that they had against Indiana, but still poor shooting. Burke, I'm curious, did you see the similarities between Ohio State playing Wisconsin as you saw with Ohio State playing Indiana, or no?
No, because I don't think you can fairly compare Indiana and Wisconsin right now. They are two entirely different monsters. One being very cowardly and timid right now, and the other one being like, Alec, you said that you didn't think that much of this Wisconsin team heading into the season.
I don't know about if I was
that
low
JR
on them.
who said that?
I wasn't terribly high on them.
I was high on them.
Oh, no. See, I was low on them because I was like, did you guys not play the same Wisconsin team we played last season? I didn't know. Yeah, but I just felt like they were like, yeah, they're bringing back all this veteran leadership, and it's just like, yeah, but how talented was that veteran leadership? Weren't those guys kind of fleshed out in what they were bringing to the court? What was left for them to get? But what was left for them to get was Storr. Like, that dude has changed the makeup of this entire program, it seems, with just the identity of drag you down and beat you with experience. That's out the window since this kid got on campus. And yeah, you can't say that. They played all right today. Wisconsin is a great team. Unfortunately, yeah, it was done on home, so that definitely hurts. You want to win the ones you can.
Right. And I think that's just kind of the moral of it all. Wisconsin is a very, very good team this year. I've said it before. I'll say it again. They fit their roles, and everybody does what they need to do. Now, I think was it Crow, the one that had his knee, or was it Wall that had the knee bothering him? I think
Wall.
Was it Wall? So you hope that doesn't continue, because you need the starting lineup to remain intact. They do really, really well together. But I think if Wisconsin, far from me to tell Wisconsin to improve in any way. They're, like I said, they're a very good team. But if Connor Essegian for Wisconsin starts doing Connor Essegian things consistently again, watch out for this Wisconsin team, because this Wisconsin team could make a deep run in the NCAA tournament with their experience and with somebody as electric as a Connor Essegian can be to make those things happen. Alec, am I wrong to think that Wisconsin, we could be looking at a Elite Eight, maybe even Final Four team?
I don't think you're too far off. I mean, I don't know about that far, but I definitely think this team has the pieces. If everything goes well, they could definitely make the second weekend, because they just have I said this before, they have some really good guards that they've been battle tested so far. This isn't the usual Wisconsin team where they're going to try to grind it out. They're not going to shoot a ton of shots. They're not going to turn the ball over. They're just going to grind. They're going to win it on defense like Rutgers does all the time. This is a team that can really fly high and really put up points on the scoreboard. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with AJ Storr coming in and giving some of these other guys a good role to follow. And I really do think that they can make a deep run if things fall their way in the bracket, or if they get hot at the right time. This team could go far. I've been really impressed with them.
Yeah, I am too. And I'm jealous of them because I wish my team was as good as Wisconsin's team is. But, it is what it is. Enjoy it, Greg Gard and everybody else. I remember last year when Wisconsin fans were, vying for Greg Gard to be fired. That you don't wish that now. So
yeah, he's giving you the most exciting basketball they've gotten to watch in probably 30 years.
Exactly. So, all right, moving on from there. Thanks for listening to the Big Ten Huddle. Please do like and subscribe. We appreciate that. If this was your first time listening, we are the Big Ten Huddle. We cover all things Big Ten football and basketball. We have a long episode every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, all at 9 o'clock. So come in, check us out, get in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. We would love to have you join us and learn more about the Big Ten.